But it is wrong for the APC to now put that as the main consideration for their loss.
How do you think the 2015 elections will play out? Well, you're a PDP person. I expect that you'd say that it will go the way of PDP, but is it going to be that easy?
No, it's not going to be easy. It's not going to be easy, but I think all the hubris and all the hypocrisy that has characterized the opposition parties being exposed, it's gradually becoming obvious that you can't win the election on propaganda alone. You can only win it by acceptance. And the more states, what has happened in Ekiti is, to me, it's not that I don't believe it's an aberration. It's more likely a trend in which it is the electorate that's saying, look, you are not paying attention. It's high time you start paying attention to us. And so that is how I see 215 going, and I see it necessarily going the PDP's way.
Every time I have an opportunity to speak with a political leader like yourself, I ask the question, how can Nigeria get over this problem of the insurgency? What would be your recommendations? What do we need to do?
Well, the first thing is that we need to, the insurgency is a scourge, is a threat to all of us, to our livelihood, and it's where the nation is at war. Therefore, the national interest must come above all else. Must be above tribe, must be above politics, particularly politics. We should not play politics with this. First thing, as I said, is all hands on deck, supports the thing. Then we have to weigh up all the options. As you well know, that the critical security decisions are never openly discussed because of their obvious sensitive nature. So broaden the dialogue as much as possible.
If you were Commander-in-Chief, would you negotiate with Boko Haram?
It's easy to. I don't know the facts. As I said, I don't have the security briefing that the Commander-in-Chief has right now, and when you get there, the security briefing you get will be different. I mean, let me give you an example. President Obama ran the election on the basis that as soon as he gets there, he was going to close Guantanamo Bay. Upon getting to office, being confronted with sensitive security information, he had to take a second look at it. So I can't second guess, and I think it would be wrong for anybody really to second guess the Commander-in-Chief at the moment in the absence of the sensitive security briefing that he gets.
You became a senior advocate at age 40. Some say the present system of appointing SANs is restrictive and selective, and that the process needs to be more open and transparent. Chief Afebalala, for example, says the SAN title should be given to every lawyer that meets the requirements to discourage lobbying. What do you say?
Well, I don't think with all I respect Chief Afebalala very much. In fact, we all do, and therefore his views obviously carries a lot of weight. But I don't think there's anything wrong with the process as it is. The process itself is good. If there are any problems, it might be in the implementation. But I don't see anything wrong with the process, because you go through and first you apply, then you have a short list, having met various criteria, and then out of that you choose a certain number. If you've got to try and maintain a balance in the bar, and that is why I think it will probably be inappropriate to just say just confer it on just anybody who meets the criteria, because when you have a disproportionate number of senior advocates to non-senior advocates, it's a problem because certain work will not get done.
The judiciary has always been has been very seriously criticized by the Nigerian public. You know, things take forever to get done. How can we overhaul the system and make it, you know, more responsive and more transparent?
Well, number one, I think we need to, first of all, reduce the various stages. You can start a case, the current judicial process we have now. You can start a case of 10,000 naira in the magistrate's court. Someone owes you 10,000 naira, and you can take that case all the way to the Supreme Court. I don't think we should have that. I think at certain levels, certain types of cases must terminate. It shouldn't be everything that goes to the. It shouldn't be everything that goes to the highest court. Then, two, if we have a lot of lay magistrates by this, retired civil servants, retired teachers, retired principals, retired public officers, and so on and so forth, community leaders, you know, then we would improve things. In England, there's so many lay magistrates because a lot of the cases that go before at that level have very little to do with law. A landlord wanted to throw out a tenant because he's late. Maybe what they're doing more, it's about mediation than litigation. So when you have people that the community respect handling a lot of these things, and you vastly reduce the things that are...
And how would arbitration help in this process?
Yeah, arbitration does help in the sense that the parties agree that they don't want to take their cases to court. They want to go before the arbitrators. But if I may say, arbitration is a bit elitist. The congestion in the court arises really from your everyday cases. Arbitration really would not arise from your everyday cases. It's the everyday cases of you owe me money, you haven't paid. You are increasing my rent when you haven't. You've taken my land when it isn't yours. You know, those everyday cases.
They're the ones that clog up the system.
They're the ones that clog up the systems. And they're, in fact, the ones that require the least expertise to deal with. And that's why we say, look, liberalize the process. Have as many lay people as possible.
Let's go back to Kwara politics. Politics apart now, to what do you think the late Saraki owed all of that goodwill?
The late Saraki, whilst I may not necessarily agree with his politics, he was a first-class human being. He was a philanthropist, and he was in the community. He came into the community at that time. He first started out as an Ilorin politician, and then grew towards the state. But he came at a time where somebody like him was needed, you know, and he rode on that.
So I'm going to ask you pointedly, do you think that political dynasty will be easy to dislodge in Kwara State?
Well, that political dynasty has all but been dislodged. Today, when you talk about Kwara State politics, you know, you're talking about mostly other people. If that dynasty does get mentioned, is only mentioned in passing along with others. That for me, it's an evidence of dislodgement. But the final dislodgement, of course, is going to come in 2015, because you don't have to take my word for it. All you need to do is go onto the street in Kwara and see what they're saying. Enough is enough. They've had enough of the government of that particular hegemony which has not served their interests. So again, it comes down to what you were saying earlier about the will of the people. If it is freely expressed, that's the way it's going to be dislodged.
Mr. Dele-Belgore, we thank you for your time.
Thank you very much.
And we thank you for watching. Please join us again next time when View from the Top returns. But between now and then, let's continue our conversation online at channelstv.com. I also invite you to follow me on Twitter at @modely_sy. I wish you a wonderful day, and I hope to see you again sometime soon.